It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
All right, we are live. Detroit Lions, Cleveland Browns, post-game show. The Lions take down the Cleveland Browns. I mean, it was pretty simple, right? They go into the game, and after the first drive from the Browns, they never looked back. They never looked back. The Browns scored on their opening drive, and that was it. They kicked a field goal, and that was it. 10 points for the Browns, 34 for the Lions. And I think it's important for a couple different ways. Number one, it's not a great team, and you did exactly what you were supposed to do against against a team that is not very great, all right? And actually not good. Mm-hmm. They're going to be probably in the top 3 NFL draft spots next year. So they are terrible. And they did what they were supposed to do, unlike the Packers, who just lost to the Browns 13-10 last week. All right. So the Lions took care of business. They dominated at home. And honestly, the offense put up 34 points, well, I guess with the help of a Cleve Raymond punt return, but they still scored 34 on one of the best defenses in the NFL. And they held the Browns to 10 points, which again did exactly what they were supposed to do. This is a complete performance. Honestly, complimentary football again. You score on special teams, you dominate on defense, you dominate on offense. Well, you got it going on offense. All right. Maybe Jared Goff didn't throw for 400 yards, but he didn't need to. Jahmyr Gibbs had a big day. Amon-Ra, 2 touchdown catches. And here's the thing I want to mention with Amon-Ra, because there's a lot of players to get to, but I just want to start with him. Him and Jared Goff, the connection they have, they're just in terms of quarterback wide receiver duos in the NFL. I tweeted this out. They're up there for the highest level with where they're playing at. Amon-Ra has caught 6 touchdown passes on the year. Jared Goff's thrown for 9. So those two, especially in the red zone, it's almost, I don't want to say, it's borderline impossible to stop. That's what it seems like. But a dominant win by the Lions, man. Dominant win.
Yeah, they did what they had to do at home. They took care of business. Like you said, complimentary football. I mean, I think there was a point in that game, Jeff, we looked at that offense, and they ran 25 pass plays, 25 run plays. Really balanced offense. Johnny Moe said in a press conference, they haven't seen a run game like ours all year. We rushed for over 200 yards, about 4 yards carry. That's a pretty damn good Browns defense, Jeff. And the fact that you put up 27 points against them is pretty impressive, because no team has been able to do that against them this year. I mean, a really good win for the Lions. Like I said, took care of business at home. And Jeff, to your point about Amon-Ra St. Brown, he is the definition of just consistency. And you know what you're going to get from Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's going to catch those passes on 3rd and 4. He's going to make plays for you in the red zone. He's amazing in open space. He's not going to make mistakes. He's going to run block. He is one of the league's best and a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. So I'm very happy Amon-Ra St. Brown is on my football team. And defensively, I thought the defensive line looked great. This is Hutch's best game he's played all year. He was dominant. I mean, both of the Browns tackles were hurt, so he's going up against second-string tackles, and he absolutely dominated 2. Was it 2 strip sacks, or he should have had 2?
Yeah, he should have had. And I know woulda, shoulda, coulda, but the reality is he had in the game 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles. Mm-hmm. The strip sack he had earlier in the game was called back because of a Brian Branch penalty. So he ended the game with 2 sacks and a forced fumble. So he could have had 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles, which honestly, that even the two sacks and a forced fumble is a defensive player of the year type of performance. He now has on the year. Let's see. So he had 2 sacks today. He's at 4 sacks through 4 games, 2 forced fumbles. I mean, we're talking. This guy's back on pace. Yeah. After a week 1 where the defensive line didn't have a lot of success, and this is a guy who's battling through little injuries throughout the game, and he just keeps coming back. And he did another guy did exactly what he was supposed to do. Yeah, backup tackle. Cool. He dominated him. That's what you're supposed to do. So I love it. I love it out of Hutch, man. He looks great. He looks elite, like Mr. Ray just said in the chat. Hutch was elite out there today.
Yeah,
he was.
This is the best game he's played all year. And another shout out, too, is I thought this was another great game by the linebackers. They played unbelievable last week against Baltimore, and I thought they played good again today. Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, and Alex Anzalone. You saw Alex Anzalone a lot today in coverage against running backs, linebackers, tight ends. Yep. A couple times against Harold Fannin, and Anzalone was step for step with them, which is huge. A lot of those plays were on 3rd down where Flacco could have connected with one of those tight ends or running backs, but Anzalone was there. And that's what you get when you have a defensive coordinator that was a former linebacker in the NFL. The linebacker play is going to excel because you have a coach that knows the position. So, yeah, I mean, Judkins, 21 carries, 82 yards. He's a good player, Jeff. Judkins, I was very impressed with
10
Judkins.
carries, 82 yards.
Yeah, Cleveland has something to be excited for with Judkins, but they don't have a quarterback, so I mean it doesn't really matter. I want well, Gentry's right. He said, "What do you mean on the side?" I do want this on the record. I'm a Joe Flacco guy still. Maybe future Hall of Famer, borderline. Jeff disagrees.
Yeah. I mean, and I love it. Listen,
I'm a Joe Flacco guy. It hurt me to see what the Detroit Lions did to him today. Joe Flacco guy, but yeah, the Lions had to take care of business and make Joe Flacco look like a 40-year-old quarterback, which he is.
They just didn't. The game, even though it was at one point 20-10, it was technically 10-point game. It was kind of similar to the rate, different teams, but it felt the Lions were still in control of that game. It didn't feel like they were ever. There was never a point in the game where I was genuinely looking at the score, going, no. The Browns, just the way they were moved, they couldn't move the ball. After the first drive, that was it. I think Joe Flacco ended with, what do you have, 16 completions?
Yeah, he went 16 for 34,
and 6 of them came on the first drive, I think. 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah. I think he started 7 for 7 or something like that. But yeah, 16 for 34, 184 yards and 2 interceptions and got sacked 3 times. Not a great performance out of Joe Flacco. But hey, look, the Lions defense looked great today.
Yeah, they did. Great. They're building it and off great performances. So Kelvin Shepard, again, another dominant performance. Johnny Morton, again, another really good performance. And I'll say this also about just the offense to speak on. Because we'll get to the injuries, because there's obviously some injuries in the secondary. Johnny Moe, someone brought this up in the chat. You know what I love about Johnny Moe? And I know they were up. So, you're being a little more conservative. You're running the ball. But they ran the ball just as many times as Jared Goff attempted a pass. Mm-hmm. So they were very balanced today. So credit to John Morton, man. They stuck with the run. I know Dave Montgomery wasn't getting that much. I don't know what he averaged per carry. Do you have that in front of you?
1.3 yards carry, 9 carries, 12 yards.
But they kept giving him the ball. So it's like they didn't abandon the run. They kept going back to it. Jameer obviously had some pop plays where he took off. And that's what I love. Johnny Moe sticking with the run, being disciplined. And you saw it pay off with Jahmyr Gibbs. That was the Jahmyr Gibbs game we were kind of waiting on. Not that he's had 100 all-purpose yards, but it just didn't feel in Jahmyr Gibbs fashion where he looked like he was just dominating. Today against a very good run defense. Again, he's not going to put up 150 yards on the ground. But I thought this was kind of the game where Jahmyr, you're like, okay, this is the Jahmyr we were waiting on here in the run game. He had a great day today too. So run game, hey, this is why you have 2 good backs. If one's off, one's on. And that's what happened today. So Johnny Moe, love that. I know people like to bring up with Ben Johnson how they would get away from the run at times, but they stuck with it today, even if they were up. So it was good. These coordinators through the stretch of games, I get it's the Browns today, but they keep building on good performances. Yeah, you could have went out there and crapped the bed in different ways. They could have given up 20-something points to the Browns.
Yeah,
they did not.
This is a team that just beat the Packers straight up. This could be, and I hate the term, and I feel like we brought it up a couple times last year with a couple of these games. This could have been not necessarily a game we lose, but it can't a trap game where it's tight, a close game. But the Lions just they're the better team. They're the better team. And when you talk about the run game with Johnny Moe, the thing I loved about it is that there were drives where they would stall and then it would be the score was 10-3 or something, and there was no panic in his play calling. It was, we're going to stay true to what we are. I know this run game is going to get going. I'm going to get a pop play out of Gibbs, and then that's going to set up everything else in our offense, which has been their MO for the past few years. Another thing, they tried to get Jameson Williams going all day offensively, and I think that's good. I think that's big for a guy like Jameson Williams, a guy that hasn't done much these past, didn't do much against Baltimore. Want to get him going. They tried all day. Couldn't get him going. A couple deep balls. J-Mo dropped 2.
Yeah, that was the only thing with I guess you could say bad. It's just Jared J-Mo connection today.
Yeah, that was it. Offensively, that's the really, I thought Taylor Decker looked amazing against Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Not amazing, but,
they held their own. Yeah, I don't think, did Myles he had a sack today?
No, I don't think he had a sack.
I'll say,
he was
full game transparency. I don't know what you guys have been saying post game here. But full game, from the start to the jump, I think going into this game, boys, we knew that it was going to be tough. That defense was tough. It's one of the best defenses in the NFL. So I'm not concerned offensively, the JMO stuff. Also the run game, D-Mount wasn't that good. And they did get to Jared Goff a couple times, but I feel like, I don't know where you guys stand on this. Like, I feel like that was expected out of this team. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, especially out of this Browns team. And defensively, you essentially did what you should do versus that Joe Flacco offense. Yeah, you gave up a touchdown here and there, but like in a field goal, but it felt like they dominated at times. And like this defense is starting to get this thing down a little bit. Obviously, the concern was the JMO stuff today and the DeMont stuff, but that's like next week you get the Bengals, it's going to be fine. When you play the Chiefs, it's going to be fine. This defense is just on a different level, and yeah, you're going to see some defenses like this in the postseason, but they did win the game by 30 almost still. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they went out there and almost lost the game because that defense was so good. They found different ways. Like Dan Campbell said, the best thing about this football team is like if the offense and certain parts of the offense isn't clicking, other parts of the team picks up, and like the special teams and Khalif going to getting a touchdown, the defense getting a 2 or 3 turnovers today, like they all complemented each other very well. And when the offense started to slow down in the second half, the defense was forcing more turnovers, and the special teams was stepping up, which I think like a championship team, that's what happens in those moments. You know what I mean? Like those are like the plays, those are the things that happen. If a Chiefs team, like if the Chiefs, you've seen it a couple times with like that offense has struggled the last year or so, that defense picks up, that special teams picks up. And that's what you had to see today out of the Lions. And it's in a game you're supposed to win. And it's not like they went in there, had a close game. They beat them by 20 plus.
They were in control of that game.
Yeah.
I mean, from pretty much start to finish. I think the thing I'll say too with this Lions team, and Dan mentioned this, is they want to find different ways to win ball games. Like today was kind of it was a very physical game. But they won without Jared. I mean, Jared didn't have to throw. Again, it was back-to-back weeks where Jared didn't have to have 350 passing yards to dominate. You know what I mean? They just beat them on the ground. They were set up great situationally because of their defense. It was great complementary football. That's what winning teams do, you know. And they're going to have, they have to get these wins under their belt, get their confidence up, and take care of teams like the Browns, because there's going to be games like this where you face the Giants, who you're going to look at as maybe you're going to distract them a little bit, or other teams on the schedule, but then you're going to have a tough stretch here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you got to find a way to win those games.
It's good to prepare. It's getting them ready for the stretch of games, man. Commanders with Jane Daniels back. You're going to have the Eagles. You're going to get the Rams later in the year. They'll face some top NFC teams. The Bucs, of course, in a couple of weeks. The Chiefs. Yeah. So it's good. I mean, I do want to Lions should feel good where they're at right now. They're playing really good football.
Someone in the chat, Mr. Ray, said, "Is it possible J-Mo just doesn't have good hands?" I'm great hands. Like, J-Mo hasn't had the best hands since day one. Dan Campbell did a press conference like a year or two ago and said the exact same thing. Like, he was like, hey, he's not Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, he's going to have drops, and that's something that you're not going to be able to always fix. So you have to be able to play with that, right? Today was tough. There were 2 big, and like if this was a close game, like let's say you're playing the Chiefs and he drops those 2 passes, that's much bigger than it is in a game like this.
Yeah.
So like thankfully it was a game like this, but that does make you think like in a big game versus the Chiefs, or when you play the Eagles or the Commanders or the Rams, like you need J-Mo to make those plays. And there's a chance he does make those drops, and he has those drops, which is a little bit of a concern, but it's like a push and shove. Like you take those drops with those long plays and those big time scoring plays, right? Like it's the same thing with like a back that is like, maybe more of a receiving back, and then it's really good as a receiving back. Like, he's not going to be able to get you a 4th and 2 or 3rd and 2, but a 3rd and 15, you can throw him a screen and he's going to take that thing to the house.
Yeah, what he does, he's one of the best in the league at.
Yeah,
like it's
a little give and take situation.
I'm not even worried about the JMO. Like it's not, I don't even think. I think it's just at the end of the day, it's just simple. In my opinion, it's as simple as they were just off today. Timing was off today. Yeah. JMO dropped some balls. Cool,
we've seen him how many times make that connection.
He's reeled in majority of those deep passes.
For sure.
It's not like every week this dude's dropping deep passes. He's fine. I'm not even worried about it, to be honest. It was just one of those days. Like we said, it didn't matter. I mean, they blew the Browns out. But this isn't something like I think next week against the Bengals, perfect game to get your confidence back. They'll have more deep shots like that for the rest of the year. It'll be fine.
Yeah, kind of like you said.
It's a good defense.
I mean, the hands, like that's kind of what you got to sacrifice. Like he's not going to be the guy that's going to catch those 3rd and 4s. That's what you have Amon-Ra St. Brown for. I mean,
you got to know.
You just got to. I mean, Jameson Williams is a deep threat, and he's one of, if not the best in the league at it. And what he does for your offense, he just opens up so much for the run game, for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta in the middle of the field. So yeah, the drop's frustrating, but for everything that Jameson Williams does for your football team and for your offense, you just kind of gotta kind of
live
accept
with
that that's going to happen a few times. But Boone, you're right. If that happens in a big game on a third down or something like
Yeah,
that,
it's a big deal.
or if you need a big, if you need a what's up, Mike? If you need a big chunk play in a big game and J-Mo's open and he drops it, I mean that's going to be an issue. But honestly, today in a game like this, I mean you could live with it.
Yeah. You
Besides
could.
when you have Jameson Williams, anytime touchdown score.
And you could tell the thing that I kind of do like about this offense, unless you have the anytime.
Yeah.
They were going at him though. They wanted to get him the rock, and they had the matchup. It felt like he beat them multiple times. It just like the one that's a tough one, like that drop pass when Jared Goff put it in the only spot that Jameson Williams could get it. That's the tough one. So, yeah, Caleb, I told you should have not said anything. Tigers are losing. And that's Caleb's fault.
As soon as that's what happens.
Caleb premeditated came in here and called it.
I think the USA is coming back in the Ryder Cup though, so you can.
No, they're not.
I think they are.
Dude, they're down 1 million.
Scheffler's winning, but whatever. Schauffele's up 3, but
yeah, like the drop, that 45-yard keys to wisdom, like that drop is like you can't have that drop, dude. That's in your hands. And then even like the one that he was running out of bounds, it's in his hands, drops that as well. So.
I will say you brought up, speaking of kind of, the positive of players, you can talk about the other side, the injuries. Obviously, DJ Reed had an interception today, along with Kirby Joseph.
Defensively, they had I thought defensively it was a great game.
It was. It was a great game. The only negative you could take out of it were the injuries, which just, it sucks. This is football. Things are going to happen. Lions fans are obviously a little more sensitive to injuries because last year the whole team died. So this is it sucks. But DJ Reed, I don't know the exact what happened. I don't know. I haven't been on Twitter to see what it is exactly, but I know it looked like a hamstring. It looked pretty bad.
Both of your corners are.
He was carted off, and then Terran Arnold walk off. Looked like a shoulder injury or maybe a pec injury. I don't know exactly what it is either. Those are both your starting corners. So I would assume going forward, something the Lions could do is you can move Amik to the outside, have Branch play more nickel, run single high safety, and maybe you have Rock Yassin in there or Khalil Dorsey as like your CB2, and you just rock with it. I just don't know how long DJ Reed's going to be out.
I want to throw in here too, like today, the defensive line. Just a couple things. First of all, Aiden Hutchinson had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and 4 quarterbacks hits and a forced fumble, which is absolutely insane. And then the Detroit Lions defense as a whole, how many quarterback hits do you guys think they had?
Today?
Yeah.
9.
Klotz already saw it. It was 9.
I swear to God I didn't
see it.
I swear to God.
Well, he got it outright spot on.
Well, he didn't know.
No, he knew.
Okay.
He saw it. He was looking at the stats earlier. I saw him outside.
Watching Red Zone.
They had 9 quarterback hits, which last week, like even last week when they had a big game, what did they have on was it 7? They had 7 sacks and 7 QB hits or something last week. And then today they have 9 on Joe Flacco. And then also defensively, I do got to throw this name out there with the back-to-back weeks of an all-pro level. Jack Campbell, 11 tackles, 7 of them a solo, a tackle for a loss today. Jack Campbell, the last 2 weeks has been an all-pro linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah, and I believe on that Hutch fumble recovery, or when Hutch forced that fumble, I think he picked it up on that first one that didn't count.
Oh, yeah, he might have. Yeah. So, like, Jack Campbell's playing elite. And I'm not just saying that because to push my narrative that I think he's going to be an all-pro this year.
Yeah.
I think if you watch the Ravens game and then saw today's game, you're starting to see Jack Campbell form into, like, what he's supposed to be and get to his ceiling. And you're like, hey, these last 2 weeks he's played on an all-pro level. Like, there's obviously linebackers out there that you are the best in the league, and you're like, I would have. But, like, you compare Jack Campbell to almost every linebacker on every team in the NFL, and you're like, I want Jack. And there's only now a handful of players that you would be like, I'll take him over Jack. He's getting to that point, which is what you wanted. That's like the goal.
That was I was going to say, you take him 18th overall. This is what you expected him to look like. Now, I think we wanted him to look like it last year, but at this point, who gives a fuck? Like you're in a spot where as a defense, I would say right now, I know Terrion Arnold is being still a concern, but this defense I feel like is playing very complete.
Yeah.
Like as far as they're giving up yards to the air, but it seems a little bit more limited this year. And then defensively up front, they're getting home. Linebackers, Anzo, Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, they're all playing good football. Honestly, I think Terrion's a guy that you kind of look at and be like, you need to step it up. Everybody else is doing their job, at least so far. And Kelvin Shepherd's had it dialed. And his whole thing, like that was, you could tell when Jack Campbell was picked 18th overall, obviously Aaron Glenn's there, but who do you think the biggest advocate for taking a linebacker in the first round is in that defensive room? It's probably Kelvin Shepard. You know what I mean? Chris Spielman as well. Good point too. But like when Jack Campbell arrived at Allen Park, like Shepard that's his guy. Like that's been his guy. So that's probably a huge sigh of relief for Kelvin Shepard being the DC now, being able to trust his up and coming linebacker. So I agree with you. I think Patrick Queen is up for discussion, but guys like Roquan, Fred Warner, those guys are above him. But I think he's now kind of encroaching into that second tier where it's like, okay, when Fred Warner starts to decline, who's going to be there? Jack Campbell, hopefully, if he keeps playing at this level, will be.
Even the linebacker room as a whole, like Trevor Nowaski, your boy Boone. Yeah, he was out there a lot
plays.
today.
He always just shows up out of nowhere.
He's
Every time there's a play happening,
timely.
it's just Trevor Nowaski's right there.
Yeah, Trevor, he played snaps today. I mean, Derek Barnes made plays and zone cover. I mean, he had some good coverage snaps out there. So linebacker crew continues to impress. I mean, I know AQM didn't get a sack, but the defensive line, Tyleek. I mean, I know they were a little shaky against the run today, quick because Judkins is a really good player. I know we talked about
a stud.
He's a really good player. But
he
they
just keeps fighting.
Yeah, they. I know Tyleek. You know, they're gonna. Aleem's going to come back. It's going to help a lot of things, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to fix everything, but he's going to help a lot. Run defense-wise and rushing the passer. But I thought Tyleek had some snaps today rushing the passer where he was in Flacco's face. He just got it off quick, but
yeah,
I like seeing more of that from Tyleek.
As the game went on, they started to hit Flacco more, and you saw that he got more frustrated, and that team just started to fall apart. And I think when Aleem comes back, it's just going to be more of that, especially – when you get late into the season, December, January, teams are going to be running the football more. So to bring him back next to DJ Reader, next to Tyleek Williams, be able to cycle through those guys, keep them fresh. Hopefully Davenport's healthy and ready to go by that time. Stopping the run is going to be critical. So Aleem, as good as a player as we have seen him to be in certain moments, if he can come back, obviously he's not going to be 100% in his first couple of weeks. But by playoff time, if Aleem McNeil is healthy, I mean, think about all the NFC teams that you were going to go play against before that point. You probably wouldn't have Aleem McNeil at 100% during that. So that's a wrinkle that you can say, hey, now we have DJ Reader, Tyleek Williams, and Aleem McNeil, not just DJ Reader and Tyleek. So he's going to be a nice wrinkle to add late in the season.
Yeah, he will. He will. And I think, listen, going forward, you go into that Bengals game next week, that's going to be I think, a good confidence boost for this offense. I think they're going to be able to put up, they put up 34 on a really good defense. I mean, they 7 came from Khalif Raymond, but that's still a ton of points on a good defense.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I expected them to win by more than one touchdown, of course, but I think I had like 20 points, 24 points, something like that. Scored 10 more points than I even thought they would. I mean, the offense looked great. And Jared Goff, I said it earlier, Jared Goff didn't have to throw for 300 yards for them to be as good as they were. They're like a multi-dimensional offense.
He was just taking what he was given. Because that's, I think, why people, if you look back at this game and be like, well, why didn't Jared air the ball out more? Because he didn't need to. And he was trying to air the ball out. They were trying to push the ball down the field, but he just couldn't. So he just did the simple check down, trust your players like Amon-Ra St. Brown to make plays for you, check it down to Jahmyr Gibbs, just get everybody in rhythm.
Yeah, I think with Jared Goff, too, like, at the end of the day, he just finds ways to win. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't, like, he have one touchdown pass today.
I believe, yeah.
And it was just the Amon-Ra one at the end. And people will look at it and be like,
oh, no, he had two Dom. Didn't he have two Amon-Ra?
Yeah.
Oh, two Amon-Ra. So he had two. But people are like, hey, he didn't throw for 300 yards again. He didn't do this. It's not like he just finds a way to win. And again, when they struggle a little bit, that defense, those like putting your offense in the positions that you do when you get those turnovers to where they have short fields. You were talking about short fields to start the game, like with Flacco, like which is it's fair. Like you want to put your offense in the best position, and that defense just kept putting this offense in like every position. Mm-hmm. There was good returns outside of even the Leaf touchdown. He had the one out to the 40, puts him in a spot to be able to go score. Like they're constantly.
Sailors had that one.
Sailors had one. Like, and that's like it's good about this team to where they're giving your offense one of the best offenses in the league. Every time it feels like they're getting like a shorter field than they would. I know last week they did have the 2 possessions. Even when they have a long field, they had the 2 plus 90 yard plus touchdowns last week.
I see Lions 57 says, what about 2 corners down against Cincy with their receivers?
I think we were talking about if there's a weakness I want this defense to have at this point, it's the cornerback spot, because I think it's most important to stop the run. Cincinnati, Jake Browning, I get it. He's a good backup quarterback, but against this defense, against the talent they have up front and the pressure they've been putting on, you can give up those big plays down the field on the outside if you're stopping the run and creating turnovers. And I don't think
their O-line's been struggling.
And I know that DJ Reed had an interception today, But DJ Reed is not a guy who usually creates turnovers. He's a good corner. I'm not saying that he's not. That's just not his style. Terrion Arnold hasn't created an interception yet through this point in his career. So without those guys, you've seen Amik be able to go one-on-one with one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game, in Justin Jefferson. So similar level in Jamar Chase. Hopefully he can lock him down. But let T. Higgins beat you. Chase Brown is going to have a big game if you want to be able to keep up with the Detroit Lions, and they're not going to be able to keep up and do that if you shut down Chase Brown, which they have the worst run offense in the NFL to this point. So I'm not worried about it. Give me an issue in the secondary before the front seven. We've seen the
Jake
opposite.
Brown will throw picks too.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I mean, he slings it, but like
Jake
he's
Brown,
not
he threw. I think
the smartest.
No, Jake Browning will throw some picks.
Yeah,
and like kind of like what happened with Flacco today. Like I could see that game being another turnover game, stop the run. Like and I just think this Lions offense is just so much better. I mean, they'll probably put up another 30 on the Bengals. So
Yeah.
it's not even those teams that you're looking at. It's just you want to see a matchup with way better. We already know what the Lions are. To me, they're the second best team in the NFC right now. Like it's the Eagles and the Lions. And then you might disagree with that, Klotz. You might say the Rams, but it's those three teams though that are up there, I think. So they just have to prove to the better teams that they are on that level. I don't care about obviously the Browns or the Bengals. They're going to beat both those teams, in my opinion. You should beat both those teams. Like that's why the Packers, to me, are a little flaky. Just it's a little hard to read that team because they'll have these two really good wins and then lose to the Browns. Like that's why tonight against the Cowboys, I want to see what this Packers team looks like. Just because again, another team they should beat. But I don't know. Jordan Love's just he's a little inconsistent. Packers team's hard to read right now.
It is because the whole reason is they don't have an identity yet. They did have an identity last year. They had some big plays through the air occasionally, but it wasn't consistently, to your point. And even this year, like Josh Jacobs gets going, but he can rush for 100 yards. But usually Josh Jacobs is under 100 yards, but he's getting you a touchdown. And they're relying on these plays that are Jordan Love. He can make them every now and then and make the simple things. But then when they get Josh Jacobs shut down, they don't have a number one wide receiver. Tucker Kraft's their best pass catching option right now. And in the NFL in 2025, if your tight end is your main target through the air and it's not Travis Kelce in his prime, not Tony Gonzalez in his prime, you get what I'm saying? It's not going to bode well for you. So to have a guy in Jordan Love who still needs to develop with no true playmakers on the outside, you're not going to have an identity. And when you play these tough games, like against the Browns defense, where they have the front seven to shut down Josh Jacobs, they have a good corner. Jordan Love is somebody that's not going to be able to win you a game, and the talent outside of him is not going to be able to win you a game. I don't think that's the same in Detroit. Jared Goff isn't going to make those timely interceptions like Jordan Love has consistently, and even if he does, we saw last year in like the Texans games when he's throwing all these picks, the talent around him with Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you can go down the line, can help him win that game and help overcome it with this team, and I don't think the Packers are in the same situation.
I don't know if I look at him as a I know they were so quick early in the year, and I get it. They beat the Lions, and in the fashion which they did, I understand why people would be like the Packers. They got Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
But I just think they're a team, like, you got to prove to me. That's why Cam Newton, shout out to him, he was super consistent with it. And he got a lot of flack for saying he doesn't think the Packers are contenders yet. Like, he's like, well, hold on, guys. Like, what do we do? Like, everyone just immediately put the Packers in, like, the same tier as the Eagles off of one win against the Lions. And I'm sorry, that's just not the case. Like, I need a bigger sample size out of that Packers team.
There's so many different variables that go into a game like that too. Like the Lions, obviously, was like the first game with coordinators. Like there's just so many different things in that game. It's on the road, first game of the season, the Micah hype. Like you can't take the one game sample size and be like, hey, that's a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like, and then they played the Browns that versus a really good defense. I'm not saying our defense is bad, but Browns obviously they have probably the best defense in the NFL. And your defense is still growing. Shep's a first-year coordinator. They're learning, and like you can't compare both.
Yeah, they're not.
Can't.
When I look at the teams, in my opinion, at the top of the NFC, we can argue about Lions, Rams, 2 and 3. Who cares? We agree those are probably two of the top 3 teams of the NFC to go with the Eagles. Lions, Eagles, Rams, however you want to order it.
I would agree with that.
And then I think when you look at those offenses, when you go to game plan against them, you're like, fuck, Jalen Hurts, Saquon, A.J. Brown, Jared Goff, David Montgomery. Then you get to the Packers and you're like, Josh Jacobs. Like the Packers offensively, they don't scare me. And I think when you look in that secondary, their cornerback room is probably equivalent to the Lions with DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold out. So I don't look at the Packers as a team that when it comes playoff time, that of course they're going to be a good team, but that's not a team that like, ooh, like it doesn't have the same like elite factor to those top 3 teams in the NFC, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's actually a good point too with the cornerback room. Like, who do they?
Nate Hobbs and Bo Melton switched over from wide receiver to corner.
He's like
playing
CB3, And again, I'm not saying the Packers aren't a good team. They're a good team. And I think it speaks more to the NFC as a whole. I think the best teams are besides the AFC is deeper. The NFC has obviously the Super Bowl champions, the Eagles and the Lions. But I think the AFC is obviously deeper. We know that with quarterbacks and stuff. But even in an NFC with, like you said, 3 teams we just named, I don't think the Packers are in that tier yet, to me, at least.
No.
And I don't think a win over the Cowboys today confirms that either. I think you need to see, and one more game, I think, against the Lions. And I think I don't know who they play. They have a pretty easy schedule, so it's going to be hard to
the
tell.
Packers?
Yeah, they're going to whoop on some bad teams over the next couple of weeks.
We thought that same thing with the Browns. Even us going into this week, the Lions, we're like, this should win this, automatic win. And they go into that Browns week and they lose. So what makes you think that, in my opinion, they should win a lot of those games, but how do we know they don't drop a game or two?
They can play up to anybody, but they also will play down to anybody as well.
That's what it feels like.
Which to me isn't a sign of a contender.
No, not at all.
That's what it felt like last week with that Packers team, to where it's like you don't go on the road. If you're a legit Super Bowl contender, you go on the road versus a bad team and you just take care of business. That was something with the Lions forever that we talked about. When in these games, remember 2 years ago before they missed the playoffs, when they get blown out by a Carolina Panthers or whatever, and you're sitting there going, these are just games. If you're a contending team or you're a Super Bowl team, you should just take care of business. And that's like the Chiefs. You never see the Chiefs drop those games. You never see the Eagles drop those games. Do they come close sometimes? Maybe, but they always find a way to win it. With the Packers last week and the Browns, it's like you should win that game. Take care of business. And they didn't. And that's where I think you kind of that's how you take that jump if you're a Super Bowl contender. And the Lions, today, we talked about trap game this week, and remember what I said? I don't know if there's a such thing as a trap game when you're a Super Bowl contender anymore, because you should, those are just take care of business games. And we've seen, last year, I went over every single of those games last year. They won each one by 20, 30 points.
It seems like they're inevitable.
Yeah, they blow these teams out and they beat them like they're supposed to. And that's what the Lions show today. That's what, the Eagles, they show. These teams show that. So you can't put the Packers, I don't know, in that conversation. Are they a top 10 team? Yeah, but there's only a handful of contenders in the NFL. You got to work.
They got to have a actual weapon to stretch the field with to truly make defenses be okay, we can't load the box against them, and they still don't have that.
Well, the NFC North right now is, you have the Vikings who lost today to the Steelers. They're 2-2.
Steelers 3-1, man.
Rodgers looked fucking good too.
Yeah, he did. Vikings lost. Packers play tonight, and the Bears are playing right now against the Raiders. And that score, let me see,
3-0.
Wow, 3-0. That's.
You said the Raiders and Bears game?
Yeah,
3-0.
3-0.
Just started though.
Yeah, so it's okay, and the Bears aren't, obviously they're 1-2. They're not really in this thing. But my point is this division is not going to be. It's not going to be
Cam Hayward's
as close as we figured it was going to be, in my opinion.
Back last week too.
It's going to just be Packers Lions to the end. That's really it. And maybe the Packers schedule makes me think a little bit because they'll rattle off. They should, but that's because they have an easy schedule.
You really do find out again if you're a contender.
Yeah, if they can take care.
You really feel like if you're a contender, you make those. You make those plays at the end of the day.
Let me see something. The Packers schedule. I want to see who they actually play.
Can I ask you boys something?
Yeah,
just revisit. I just want to check where your boys are at. Are
Ricky Pearsall or them? Is that about to?
No. Well, I was just showing you that. But are the Bears a rebuilding team in your eyes? Or are they?
I don't know what the
We're
Bears
not
are
doing
right
this
now.
again.
I would just ask. Okay, so
because me and you are going to disagree with this.
I'm not going to fight back. I just want to see what. I'm just be okay, just checking in.
I can't believe the Giants beat the Chargers.
Yeah,
too.
it lost me a lot of money.
What's the schedule?
Last leg in a parlay.
Do the Packers have a bye week?
They have an early bye week. Yes.
So they have a bye.
They play the Cowboys, and then I think they're off until 10-12.
So they play the Cowboys tonight. Next week they play, or no, in 2 weeks they play the Bengals. So we play the Bengals and they play the Packers.
So these are the Packers' next handful of games. They play the Cowboys tonight. They play the Bengals after the bye week. Cardinals, Steelers, Panthers, Eagles. I want to see that game.
Yep. You'll find out quick what the Packers are in that game.
Giants, Vikings, Lions again, Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens, Vikings. So they have the Ravens and Eagles still left in the schedule. And these something like the Steelers will be a good one. Packers, Steelers.
Can we do this? Can you pull up the Lions schedule?
Yes.
I want to ask you guys a question with this Lions schedule. They're 3-1 right now, which after starting 0-1, everyone thought the season was over. National media was taking victory laps about how they said they weren't going to make the playoffs, and all of a sudden they're sitting at 3-1. All right, let's do this. Jeff, the next 5 games, I want you to name them, and every time we name them, I want you guys to say win or loss, and remember your record.
Okay.
Bengals, win.
Win.
Chiefs,
Win.
I'm going to go win.
they should win that game.
Yeah. Because
I mean,
Rasheed.
Bucks.
Loss.
I think they'll lose Chiefs or Bucks.
Okay, so let's okay.
One of those games
I'll do
they'll
the
probably
same.
lose.
I'll do
It'll
the
be just
same.
one of those games.
So we're at 3 games.
Vikings.
Win.
Are we going to keep going?
One more game. We're doing 5. One more.
And then we have the Commanders.
Win. So that's 4-1 over the next stretch. So essentially, like when people were like, "Hey, the Lions have a tough schedule," all this, there's a chance they start 7-2, and you're sitting there going, "Wait a second."
I had them at 12-5.
They're already at 7 games, less than 10, like 7-2. That's, I feel like, and if you told that to a Lions fan in the off season after the schedule got released and you got new coordinators, people would be like, "I would like do anything to be 7-2."
Yeah,
That
and
feels
especially
good.
when I don't think the Lions with the way that they play football, just going back to Lions Packers, like I think if they start 7-2 and injuries happen, they're much more sustainable than the Packers because injuries are going to happen to both sides. So when they hit the Packers, I do think that it impacts them way more. And they're still, when you compare experience and age, the Lions come playoff time, when you look at the Packers, outweighs them a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this, I mean, they're going to be playoff tested, man. I've said this every week, but they really are going to with the schedule. Like after these teams they face, you're going to be ready. You would have played some of the best teams in the NFC and some of the best teams in the AFC, except for obviously the Bills. They don't play the Bills this year, but they will by the end of the year they will have played the Rams, Eagles, Commanders. Trying to think of any NFC, I guess Packers twice, so you will count them as one of the best. Okay. AFC, they've played the Ravens, the Chiefs. Which the Chiefs? We'll see if they even make it. Yeah, we'll see what that looks ugly right now. But still, the Chiefs.
Commanders,
the Bucks.
too.
Sorry, in the NFC. Yep, the Bucks. So they would be like they're playing playoff teams.
They're
pretty
going to
much.
play. I would imagine they're going to
road.
play the top 4 seeds in the NFC, not including themselves. When it comes to and it's going to go well for both sides of the equation. Obviously, if you're the Buccaneers and you play the Lions and you guys match up again, you're going to have that tape as well. But to your point, to be tested and go through a tough division in the NFC North, that's good to have going into the playoffs. When last time you were 15-2, the 1 seed, and when you were trailing from behind, which you pretty much haven't done all year, you were able to manufacture nothing. Now you have that experience of this is what we have to do, and we're tested this year going into it with Hutch.
Yeah, that's what you want. And Hutch playing the way he's playing too. It's like
Can we?
And Hutch, by the way, Bengals next week. That's gonna be another barbecue chicken.
Gosh, versus Jake Browning.
That's another barbecue chicken.
This is where
offensive
Hutch
line, too.
instantly and this is where I was like, this is that Hutch is on track for 17 plus sacks right now. And you can make an argument. Last week he had a forced fumble last week. This week he has
He's
one.
gonna have 6
should have had
fumbles
2
on the year.
Like the one thing I always say that separates defensive player of the years to win it is those types of plays, those big plays. And last week he had the forced fumble and the sack down the stretch versus Lamar Jackson and MVP.
Yeah.
This week he does it in the Browns game where the offense starts to struggle a little bit and he steps up. He essentially had 2 of them. And now he has 4 sacks through 4 weeks. He's a sack per game on track for 17. He's on track right now. I know whether the teams or not you play, Hutch, you could argue is the defensive player of the year through 4 weeks. Who else? I know there are some guys that are having big weeks, but even today, Myles Garrett, you can argue he was one of the guys that was in the lead for it. And then essentially, I know they went head to head. They don't go up against each other, but in the same game, you have, Myles Garrett who gets shut down by the Detroit Lions. And on the other side, you have Aiden Hutchinson with 9 pressures, 2 sacks, forced fumble. And it was one was clearly better than the other in a head to head matchup.
Can I say my pick? You're not going to like it, but I just think selfishly, it's just my opinion right now. If it's not Hutch, Derwin James. And it's going to be so hard for him too because he's a safety, but he's playing out of his mind.
There's only a handful of guys. We look at TJ Watt has 2 sacks on the year. I don't know what he had against the Vikings. He could have increased that. I don't know. I did not check, but this is a game behind. Myles Garrett, Rashawn Gary, Brian Burns, top 3 in sack leaders. Hutch today is now just put himself in that equation. So Hutch is the top of the league in sacks, about to be in that equation. Byron Young.
Byron Young,
Yeah, Byron Young has 4 sacks.
But you'd have to
there's
think,
going to be
like, in
only
the
a handful of
moments-
guys that are going to have this type of pace all year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No one's going to hang 17. Like
Like think about
how many
next
guys will have
week.
17 sacks?
What if Hutch gets 2 next week with the bad offensive line in Cincinnati versus Jake Browning, and
Well-
he's sitting at 6 through 4 weeks or 5 weeks? You're
You know
like,
what-
wait a second.
You know what helps him too, man, is he can have some of these games in big games. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna play
Yeah.
big
He already
games.
did it once with the Ravens.
The Ravens,
versus
yeah. Like
Lamar
if
Jackson
he does
MVP.
it against the Chiefs at Arrowhead, they got the Eagles, Commanders, like all Bucks, all these games. He has dominant games, dude. It's gonna help him a ton.
Yeah.
Like honestly, they have.
I'm interested to see. I'm looking at a different sports book. It's just NFL MVP. That's
Calais Campbell has 3 sacks on the year.
Well, I think
This
he
guy
got
just won't
2
go
of them
away.
last night or
I think
Thursday night.
This guy just won't go away. Huh?
In one game, he had a big game.
pester.
39, dude. I mean, he had a sack. Yeah, what the?
He has
hell?
4
Dude,
actually.
It's crazy.
Jared Goff, by the way, 6 in MVP odds right now.
Or it's top 5.
Josh Allen is the favorite. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, which should not be there.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts
How
and
was
Jared
Jordan
Goff.
Love over Baker, bro?
And then
Yeah, Baker's doing more for his
Yeah.
respective team.
Baker's
He
right
just
behind
is.
Jared Goff, and then Mahomes, Stafford, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy.
Sam Darnold leads the league in passing yards.
Sam Darnold looks good. Like statistically, as far as like touchdowns, it doesn't pop off, but he's playing clean. He looks really good. I thought he would not look to that level.
I don't know if he'll lead it after today, but as of yesterday, he was leading the league in passing yards. Sam Darnold. That's kind of well. He did play, I guess, the game already.
Jackson Darnold.
He did. Yeah, I guess he
good
did play
today.
Thursday. He did play
Yeah.
Thursday, so that actually matters. But he's up there in passing yards. I did not expect that. Yeah, I mean, Jared's going to be top 10, top 5 in multiple categories. He's already top 10 in yards. He's second in touchdown passes. After today, he'll be. Let's see, who's actually leading with touchdown passes.
Caleb
I mean, he'll be
might
he'll be like top 3 in touchdown passes. Yeah, I mean, Jared, he's gonna have a case, and with this schedule too, they win 12, 13 games. He'll be in there. He'll be in the. He'll at least be in like the top 5 MVP odds, top 4. Because Saquon's actually he hasn't really had a.
No, he had a nice game today, but like they've been. I mean, the Eagles, they've just been getting everything thrown at them against Saquon, and they're just staying honest, and their defense is making plays for him, special teams making plays for him.
Yeah.
He's gonna have those games where he breaks, but I don't think. Outside of Adrian Peterson, I don't think there's a running back that you can look at coming off a 2,000-yard season and be like, hey, he might be able to replicate that again. Like,
Yeah,
he's still probably going to get like 1,200, 1,300 yards. As the season goes on, he's going to start having more big games. He just started incredibly fast last year.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what. We'll be live. I'll be live tomorrow morning, and then we'll be live at night as well to recap this game and start talking about this upcoming week for the rest of the week. We have the doc on Wednesday. If you guys are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like on the stream. Appreciate all you guys tuning in, supporting the show, supporting the program here, and get your merchandise. FisherCitySports.com as always.
3-1, baby.
Follow us on social
Come on
media.
now.
Check out Booner's Kool-Aid Jug. We
3-1,
got
baby.
reaction
Yeah.
clips going up all the time. Links are in the description as always. We will catch you guys. Caleb, you do me a favor.
Oh, hold on. Dan Campbell. Who got the Jane balls?
Hold on. We'll see the game balls in Linda because I do want to
Aiden
see
Hutchinson. Hutch got the first one. He looks a little beat up, huh?
Hutch, dude. Yeah, he had massive.
Cut the hair.
What was that stat that just popped up?
All right, that was just the
We'll see you guys
we just showed
tomorrow.
the Hutch.
Until then.
Love you guys. Peace.